Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm Krista. I'll be doing the reading for Aquarius Sun, Moon, and Rising today for the week of April 15th to the 21st. I know this is super late, so please forgive me. My schedule changes in 2 weeks and I'll have these up on time for you from now on, I swear. So this is my second reading for you. Last week I did 3 cards from each deck. I'm going to switch it up a bit this week. I'll be doing a 5-card spread from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and then pulling some additional cards for extra guidance from the Healing with the Angels Tarot and the Medicine card Animal Tarot. For information about me, how to contact me, and to learn about how to find out your birth chart information, just check the description box below if you don't already know your rising and moon sign. I only mention that because sometimes if the general reading for your sun sign isn't resonating with you, sometimes if you check your rising or your moon, it can help illuminate some other areas of your life for the week. Just an option. So Aquarius, let's begin. So I wish for Aquarius all joy and wellness and success. I invoke spirits of light, love, and beauty. I call upon Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, and Uriel to guide this reading in peace, clarity, protection, and wisdom. I ask Mother Gaia to please bless this reading for Aquarius. All right. So we're looking for general messages for the sign of Aquarius for the week of April 15th to the 21st. And the central card is Thinker. Wow, these are just jumping for you this week, Aquarius. Your central card is Thinker, and you're just coming out of card, past position is Mending. So we're going to look for a probable outcome card and external and internal influences card, and then I'll look at these in more detail with you. So not too surprisingly, my dear Aquarius, you've been thinking, contemplating, I wouldn't say worrying, but definitely contemplating things that you haven't contemplated before, or you're now thinking about something in a different way than you were before, in a sense that you're ready to heal from something. You might even be willing to take action on something that you spent a great deal of time studying or contemplating or learning about that regards the reconciliation, mending, or healing of relationships. And please remember that relationships aren't always business or platonic or romantic. They can be with ourselves. And again, because this is a general reading, excuse me, I do ask you to apply this to whatever is really prominent in your life this week, Aquarius. So, wow, you are really thinking this week about position. Where do you belong? Why? Why are things happening on a grand scale? Like on a macro level? Now, again, if this is applicable to your own micro world and your own relationships versus on a macro level, please take the reading, the colors, the terminology, the symbols and the cards, and apply them the way that you feel is best for you, because that's your intuition in charge, and I implore you to use that. So let's begin with the bottom of the deck is the general energy for the week, Aquarius, and it has come to the edge. My dear Aquarius, you are willing to take a leap about something, and you have some trepidation, but no fear. I wouldn't call it fear. There's some trepidation primarily regarding what you're going to leave behind. And I don't mean in a sentimental way. I mean in a practical way. I mean, are you leaving a job or a place of residence or friends or an attitude or a set of beliefs? Either you've contemplated this and you're ready to, you need to, or you're about to. In a big way, okay? Not like, should I wear red or blue sweaters today? Not like that. I just mean like um, something that means a lot to you is getting your attention in terms of being willing to assess it and examine it and to be honest and analytical about it because you're brave enough to do that now. So, I don't get readings like this very often. This is lovely. There's a lot of action. It doesn't have to be, like fast cars and, lots of people. It could be just like a lot of intellectual energy, a lot of action in your intellectual world, learning new things, contemplating new things. Let's look at the cards a little bit more in detail. And your central position is your overall attitude about the week, and it is the card of the thinker. So, I mean, a lot of these cards are pretty self-explanatory, but you can see for yourself the imagery. There's someone who has a lot of stars around them, which is a lot of support, but you are also pretty serious about putting pen to paper, about even making a pros and cons list about whatever is prominent in your life this week. And like I said, the overall energy being what it is, about having the courage to do that now, I think you're just in process of it and you're comfortable with it. Something that you weren't comfortable with before when it came to addressing what needs to be thought about it or discovered. And again, it could be you or a relationship or a way of thinking. And I'm gonna add, it's because new information is available to you, or you've made new information available to you. So doing a lot of thinking, a lot of processing, getting to the bottom of an equation, nothing urgent or terrible or that's falling apart. However, something that you're willing to take apart and get to the bottom of. And I say that really prominently because of your internal influence down here is what you're bringing. Let's look at that first then. So we have the why card. Literally, like, why? Why is this happening? Why is this the way it is? Why am I like this? Why do people act this way? Why did I get myself in this situation? So, like, those are small level whys. You could be asking, like, macro level whys, like, why do I know things that other people don't? Why am I able to do this level of contemplation and discovery and thinking? Why do I have the level of courage that I have to make these leaps with new information? It's because you have such enormous sense of self, Aquarius. You're one of the luckier astrological signs with regard to having an enormous core self that's virtually unshakable. I mean, you share that with your opposite sign, Leo, for example. Your ego is presented in a different way than Leo. Leo, for example, which is your opposite sign, relies on accolade and validation and getting along with everybody and being liked, and it's there's the planet's the sun. I mean, it's natural, right? But you have the same internal drive to act and be that way, but you also have something that Leo doesn't, and that's the I don't give an F attitude. You're not a jerk about it. You just don't feel the need to explain to anybody why you're like that because you don't require the same level of validation. You're really confident in that in yourself. So for the first time, you might be saying, why am I like that? Or why don't I need that? Or why are other people like that? Or you could be looking at larger human history stories, larger mythologies and larger social stories that we've been told, and just say, like, what do I believe and why? Who taught me this? And is this real? And the reason I say, like, on a macro level, like on a large scale level, is because, I mean, seriously, he or she has got this huge book with wings on it. So there's a lot of knowledge sharing, here, or contemplation, or coming to aha moments where something that you're able to address now or look at now for the first time with fresh eyes, you're getting a lot of questions answered just by virtue of asking those questions, by being willing to be bold about asking some difficult questions or going to some difficult places. And I'm sort of doing like a circular thing here, because let's look at the outside influence card, which is Yang, and it's the card of Leo. It's the number 1, and it's got the fireball, sort of the sun in the center, and very, very emotional and passionate. So you could just be finding a balance between the person that you are and the way that you use ego. And you might say to yourself for the first time ever, why don't I need validation? What is validation? Do I need it? And if I don't, am I a lone wolf? And does that make me impossible to listen to or get along with, or develop relationships or partnerships? Or does it give me an edge? Does it give me maybe, like, superpowers that other signs wish they had? And I'm kind of laughing because it kind of is, right? I mean, if you're a really intelligent, thoughtful thinker and doer and relator, and you've got an extremely confident core sense of self, you might be like, I'm really different, and God love ya, Aquarians, like, thank God you're different. And I don't think you're saying to any extent like there's something wrong with that. I think you're just sort of looking at it for the first time. Like, what is it that makes me different? Why? Why don't other people do it? Is it good for me? Do I use it in a good way? So this is quite lovely. There's a lot of activity here. You could even be teaching somebody else. It looks like you're it's focused on one set of study here. So if you're currently into, I'm just exampling here, but if you're currently into, motorbikes, you could just be all over motorbikes, like nothing else matters right now. Or you could be saying, what is it about motorbikes? What's their history? What do they mean? Where do they come from? What do they mean in society? Just greater attributes and relationships with things and ideas and opinions and concerns in the larger context. I just think you're taking something that was on a micro level and applying it on a macro level. Not even for the first time, just something that you're doing this week in a brave way, in terms of releasing something that doesn't belong anymore. So let's look at what you're just coming out of, Aquarius, and it's the mending card. This is such a gorgeous card because it literally means the reconciliation or mending of a heart, of a situation, of a friendship, or the mending of any problem. It might even also mean that you previous to getting to this place, you thought you didn't have it within you to take the risks that you're taking, come to the edge, right? And I think that you have done for yourself what no one else can, what many other people would rely on other people to do, right? Like your external influences is number one. It's you. You're not even listening to anybody else. Not that you're like closed off. That's not what I mean. I mean, you're taking your own good advice because you've learned to rely on yourself and trust yourself, and you have such a strong core that you don't. What's the what's the problem in looking to yourself for that energy and that drive and that confidence? So it's lovely. You've healed something within yourself, it looks like, to get to this place this week, Aquarius. This is just such an intense reading. Holy moly. A lot going on in your mind that is going to amount to... Okay, so let's look at the Occam card because I'm just staring at it. The Occam card is co-create. This is such a gorgeous card too. You can see some of the major symbolism here is a leopard, an owl, and an egg. So if we just briefly examine some of the historical context around those images, and again, we've got the higher level, the spiritual purple color in the background. You're putting yourself in a position where you're realizing your personal power, and you're finally okay with that. You're finally okay with being the one who's different. Not that you were uptight about it before, but I think you've come into your own in terms of you not only know exactly why, you've done a lot of soul searching about it, and you've got some sources, some citations. Perhaps if you're talking about or anything having to do with the emotions, for example, that you're thinking about or that you're examining, you would have done a lot of reading on the subject. And co-create really is just acknowledging that we are co-creators in our reality. And however peaceful or chaotic we want our lives to be, barring the outside world, I mean, we do live in the physical world, so things can fall down around us and really impact us. But in terms of being within and your own best friend or your own worst enemy, I think you're at a position where you're like, what do I really want? What am I examining here? What am I willing to keep being passionate about and brave about, and thus benefit from as a co-creator? So just to back up a second, so the egg is fertility, the owl is the moon, and of course, I think I said leopard, but I think it's a cheetah, is speed and beauty. So if any of those words appeal to you in terms of general energy around the week, looking at the carving, and it's also got the water bearer in the carving, pouring out water over a shield. So there's an Aquarius symbology even within the card here, right there. So wowsy wow, Aquarius. Not a lot of light thinking this week for you. Again, not heavy or terrible or depressing or anything like that, but doing a lot of contemplation, willing to change patterns of behaviors, beliefs, concepts, even peer groups, places of residence or work, or belief systems and attitudes you have about yourself and others. So let's look at some additional guidance from the Healing of the Angels Oracle for Aquarius, week of April 15th to the 21st. Looking for additional guidance for Aquarius. Oh, wow. Children. So this is lovely, whether or not you have children of your own or you're around children or work with them. This is just reminding you to recall that you were once little, and there's a little self, there's a child in us all, and in you as well. And to honor that child, to remember that freedom and gentleness and camaraderie and joy and even simple things like laughter and silliness and game playing, not the emotional kind, but just relaxing and having fun and enjoying. There can be a lot of room for learning in those environments as well. And children, when I think of the children card as well, I think of protection, that you're protecting something, or you feel protected. And if you do feel protected, you'll be emboldened to keep going and to co-creating. And if you don't, I'm going to suggest that you take some time this week to remember how precious you are and to remember how much support you need. You're human. I know it's hard to believe, Aquarius, but you're human. Even though you're miles ahead of most of us. But there is a gentle child within, if this isn't a physical child in your life, that you need to take care of and support. So please support yourself. If you don't have others around you who are willing to do that, or you are allowing to do that, please support yourself this week like you would a little child, and have some patience with yourself. And one more card from the Medicine Card Tarot. So we're looking for additional messages for Aquarius for the week of April 15th till April 21st for the sign of Aquarius. And like I said, I'll have my readings up on time next week. I know it can be frustrating for people when they rely on these or look forward to them. So what's an additional message for Aquarius for this general reading for this week? I really enjoyed this reading. I hope you really liked this, Aquarius. This was an unusual reading regarding all the other signs. This was really, really interesting. I would love to know what you're thinking about when coming to the edge boat. So feel free to leave comments about if any of this applies to you, or how you feel about it, or if you liked it or didn't. But we're just looking for one more additional message for Aquarius. And we're going to take the Owl, 21. So the owl's main keyword is deception. Don't let this trip you up. This is an interesting card to have as an additional message because it's simply saying you are more powerful than you think, and you can see through other people's bullshit. Bull crap. Trying not to swear. But here's the clincher. They know it. You may not even know that they know it, but they know it. So no one's going to mess with your aura. But beware that you don't do this to other people. That you're not deceptive with other people, because they're going to be able to see through you just like you're able to see through them. But to top that message off, I want to remind you how powerful you are, and that you have a lot of protection and a lot of internal personal power that witches and sorcerers and wizards are known to have. This is the second owl to come up in your reading. I thought there was another. The second owl to come up. So there's a lot of intuition, insight, something to do with emotions, maybe even women in general, fertility, the mending of relationships with women, your female side, you know, within your own person. So don't take other people for granted and don't let them take you for granted, my dear Aquarius. I will leave it there. You have yourself a great week. Let me know what you thought of the reading, and I will see you next week, Aquarius. Take care.